We have breaking news today. The long-running hacker convention DEFCON has been canceled. DEFCON has been canceled. 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 We have breaking news today. We have breaking news today. The long-running hacker convention DEFCON has been canceled. We have breaking news today that due to the severe ongoing alcohol shortage and multiple reports that the last thing has been hacked, the long-running hacker convention DEFCON has been canceled. 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 DEFCON 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 has been shortage and multiple reports that the last thing has been hacked, DEFCON has been canceled.
Showtime! Showtime!
What's going on?
4, 3, 2, 1.
Alright, let's see. Does that change anything? Okay, we're going to use this for now. It's not the best audio version, but it works. So, hi everyone out there. I know it's super early during the day and you're probably wondering why the heck are we broadcasting this early. And before we even get into that, we want to kind of go into a bit of what this meeting's going to entail. So just give us 1 second here. I just want to make sure if something's going on. All right, because we're not the only ones stalling for time here. Essentially, our first program, they're rebooting their computer. So even though we will cut back to our initial thing that starts at 4 p.m., we're just going to kind of wait until that person's ready. It's going to be a long workshop, I must say. But hello, everyone out there. Welcome to DEFCON 201. I'm known as Side Pocket. I am one of the co-founders of DEFCON 201. We are a computer hacker group under the DEFCON group's banner. You can also refer to us as DC 201 or DCG 201, although DCG makes it sound like a card game. If you want to know more information about us, we meet third Friday every month. Later on, we're actually going to peer into subculture and take a look at all of them and what's going on there, because we have a fun little activity if all the stuff lines up. But if you want to know more about us, still watch the stream, but you can go to our website at defcon201.org. That's DEFCON201.org to find out more information. This is our August meeting. We've decided to call it Digital Campfire. If you've noticed, unlike the last meeting, I am not at... and by the way, if there's an echo, or if there seems to be something off or anything, or you have comments or questions about anything going on, please let us know, because we love our lurkers, but we also like interacting with the chat. We also know that we're starting so early, and the only reason why we're starting so early is two reasons. One is that our main physical venue normally closes now at 8 instead of 10. And because of the setup time they need, they have to close by 7:30, so our physical meetings are only going to be going on until 7:40. They're only going to be going on until 7:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. However, what we've decided is that since we have the ability to live stream, we are going to go beyond the normal times in terms of the live stream. Oh, something stuck in my mouth. What was that? I don't know. I'm getting biohacked here. But you notice that we're not at Subculture right now. We are going to go there later via the power of the internet. But this is going to be, we call it Digital Campfire. This is going to be a more relaxed meeting because a little bit of a background here about the past couple of meetings. As we're going to mention later on, we've been doing this for like 3 years now. Yeah, our last March was our 3rd year anniversary. And long story short, August is always the most difficult time for us because of the simple nature of that. Hold on a moment. Okay, I'm gonna mute this. There we go for now. But yeah, August is always difficult for us because normally everyone's traveling out to Vegas for a week and they come back and everyone's dead and exhausted. Well, even though there's no traveling involved, this month was literally Ultimate Hacker Summer Camp. In fact, it was so much Ultimate Hacker Summer Camp, it actually started the last week of July. So between Hope 2020 to DEFCON Safe Mode to Diana Initiative, which is going on right now, the Google CTF that will be participating later on tonight, and a ton of other things, this has just been like a whole whirlwind of just absolute insanity. And because of that, everyone's really exhausted. And a lot of the people that we had lined up for this, because normally what we do in the in-person meeting is we don't really have like a subject and we kind of just sit here and relax and share stories about our conventions and stuff. And we'll be doing that later virtually. The issue that we have is that we're broadcasting live, so we can't wing it like we normally do, and we actually have to share content with everyone. So yeah, I know that we're in the same building. So but yes, GI Jack and Circe will be down there. They're gonna bring up the topic we're gonna work on later, and so yeah, so we actually had to air content. Now, the good thing, as I said, there's been so much going on with Hacker Summer Camp that that everything was is kind of nuts. And I'm going to send the links to the Jitsi later. By the way, in chat later on, I will actually post the link to the Jitsi and the password for it. So when we open it up to everyone, you'll all be allowed to join in. And we know the later things go on, the cool, the more people we're going to have. But we do have a pretty good lineup for a relaxed, chilled meeting here. We have a bunch of live stuff, pre-recorded stuff, things we're going to check out, and then we're going to kind of turn over to our audience and our fellow DC201 members and chat about. So the first thing we're going to do here is I'm going to do a brief history lesson, and then we're going to go straight into the workshop, which will allow me to set up some more stuff, take a little break, etc. And who knows, maybe you'll be able to see Jack's amazing e-skating skills at some point. So let's turn me off. I'm getting turned off. And let's turn on the browser. So, as we put in full screen mode, just to note, this is DEFCON 201. This is the website that's made by the lovely Cerasil. And it's funny because we really should revert the rainbow back, but I kind of like it now. I think maybe this is like a permanent thing. I don't know. We'll figure it out because we have to do a bunch of website updates that we haven't been able to get to because Ultimate Hacker Summer Camp was killing us. For those of you who don't know, for the past like 4 weeks, we've been writing up guides for all these different things that have been going on. We even missed a couple of conventions. Like we wrote a guide for Hope 2020. We wrote some for RightsCon. We wrote some for Black Hat USA, the Ring Zero workshops. Obviously, DEFCON Safe Mode, the USINEX conference, which is pretty cool. And right now, both the Diana Initiative is literally going on right now. It's an amazing convention. We're going to look at it later. It's only $5 to get a ticket. It's really cool stuff. And at 8 p.m. all weekend, we're going to be working on the Google CTF. But what we're going to kind of focus on today is, provided that this loads, is our meeting, which is Digital Campfire. And so I'm going to quickly go over what we're doing, and then we're going to go immediately to the first part. So right now, there's a 20-person limit, but there's outdoor seating at our physical place at Subculture. If you are interested in going to Jersey City Subculture, which you'll see later, is this amazing sandwich shop. Pre-COVID, and obviously during COVID, it's normally our venue of choice. It's at 260 Newark Avenue. It's literally 4 or 5 blocks away from the PATH train station on Grove Street, meaning if you are also from New York and you can make it to Manhattan, whether Midtown or downtown, or if you can make it anywhere from New Jersey through the Newark Penn Station, you can make it out to our meeting. And we're going to have that meeting from now until 7:40 p.m. And so we're going to get into what we're going to do next, and then at 5:30 I'm going to turn it over to the Jitsi, and we're going to have a cool DEFCON 201 kind of show and tell going on. And then we're going to have then kind of during this hour period, because it might last for half an hour, may not, but we're going to look at the Raspberry Pi arcade machine setups they have internally. Now, obviously, unfortunately, unless they allow us to bring one out somehow, if you go to the venue, you can't interact with these machines. Also, there's just health concern issues, and I also realized something else that I need to give to my co-founder before he leaves. But there is we're going to kind of explore those machines. We're going to show how they're set up, what software they're running on them, how these Raspberry Pi machines were configured, and apparently the venue wants us to do a bunch of updates to them, so we're going to look into see how many we can do with the skills that we have. Then we're going to watch an awesome pre-recorded talk that literally happened yesterday. It's not available to the public yet, by the Black Hat USA webinar people, which is about vulnerabilities in contactless payments. That's like those NFC chips in your cards, or if you have an NFC reader and broadcaster in your phone, and you have you hold your phone over the payment at McDonald's and it works. They announced brand new 0 days yesterday for that, and we're going to play that. Then we're going to look at, and you need to grab two things before you leave, okay. E-Viction, which is this amazing art house thing that's protesting internet censorship, and look a little bit more at that initiative. And then we're going to open up to the public with Campfire stories. Around the time of 8 p.m., we also might show off bits of Google CTF. We'll also explain Google CTF in a bit. And just to note, we do have a folding at home team because we really want coronavirus to end. If you join team 241960, you can join our amazing team. I think there's a link that I have below that kind of shows our standing here. I'm going to open that in a new tab, and then we're going to get right into the workshop, which I'm sure we're missing like the first couple of minutes of. But yeah, there's our team, Team DC 201. Our team number again is 241960. We currently are in the 500s out of like literally over 200,000 teams. And while it's cool to compete, we just want everyone to get involved with folding at home, because again, we really want to meet up in person and have coronavirus end. What we're going to do right now for the online stuff is we are going, the camera's not on, so don't worry, is that we're going, that the Diane Initiative, which again is this amazing convention. We wrote a guide for it. It's about a bunch of women and people I identify as female and minorities who have gotten together to make a conference, not only to share their cool tech stuff, but also about all the different problems that we have in communities and solutions for those problems, such as digital divide, the wage gap, misogyny, racism, all the lovely topics that we're going through right now in 2020. And both Diane Initiative and our workshop person here, if I can find their name, because my brain is kind of half fried now. We'll get to that later. I apologize for that little mix-up. I thought I wrote it in there, but apparently... Oh, sorry. Tech Girl MN. I don't know what the MN stands for. Minnesota Mainframe Network. I don't know. But Tech Girl MM is doing an hour-and-a-half workshop about how to solder the Diana Initiative badge. And even if you weren't able to get the parts and stuff beforehand, it's going to be a great primer on soldering. So without further ado, let's watch the workshop.
And so we're just going to dive right in, because that's the one thing about being the hardware person. It's kind of like when the shoemaker's kids go barefoot. You spend all day fixing other people's problems for libraries and whatnot. And so you just want to go home and use your own system and just kind of ignore those general maintenance tasks that I probably should not be putting off any longer. All right, so we're going to start with the oh my God, what is this? This is a resistor. Hi, yeah. Apparently I do need an adult beverage at this point. So yeah. So we're gonna bend our LEDs, and then we're gonna put them on the board. And I just lost my notes. Oh my god. Ah, there we go. Prototype, yay. All right, so we're gonna start with our 220 ohm resistors. These are current limiting resistors for the LEDs. Basically, the Arduino puts out more power than the LEDs can handle on their own, so we use a resistor to limit the current. And if you've got the notes, all of these go from the, wow, oh, let's try it that way. Oh, that looks much better. Okay, so all of these go from row J into the negative rail. And so this one goes into number 4. Like that. And then if I get, see if I can get oriented here. And there's a nice close-up shot for number 4. And back to the wide angle. And then on the other side, holding the resistor down, just bend these out just enough so that it stays put. And then we're going to put the next one in at J8 and the negative rail. And yes, I'm using my fancy little component bendy tool. Because if you've got it, why not? And again with the flip. So that's what you, so if you really have to have one of these, I guess search for it on Amazon. I hear tell that, oh, the place, God. The place with the STLs. Wow. Yes, Thingiverse. Thank you, Ben. And apparently SparkFun has them too. Okay, now that we have that solved, and I might be able to talk again by the end of the session. So we're at 12, J16. Bending those out. Bent out. All right. And then we need to go with J20, negative, and row J. And this is number 20, J24. If somebody yells bingo, I'm just gonna be, that would just be amazing at this point. And there's that one, and uh-oh. Get out one more. And bend that in place. All right. And this one goes into 28. All right. So now that we have our resistors placed, stop. Okay, there's that. We're going to flip the board over and solder them on the back side. And so before I start soldering, I'm going to try to just adjust here, and get a good angle for the other camera for you. There we go. We're gonna do a couple with that. So now we're on close up, and so you can see what I got going here. And as we've talked about, handy flux. I like a liquid for through-hole projects. I'll put it on camera for the other, when I have the other camera back up. You can actually get, it looks almost like a magic marker, and that's better for surface mount. And then sometimes you'll see a paste, and that's best for wires. And I do have all three laying around my workshop, of course. So like Ben was explaining, you want to heat this up and touch a little solder to it, maybe. And maybe my iron's still dirty. Oh, come on. Come on. There we go. Starting to get there. All right. Wait a second. Let me tin this. So one of the things to keep in mind, and I'll bring the tip back in the frame here. If your tip of your soldering iron isn't like super shiny, it's not going to conduct heat as well. And I'm kind of hoping Ben went over this a little bit. So you just throw a little solder on there and then clean it back off. I like a ball of brass. Some people prefer water. So let's do the one side of the ones that are visible first, and then we'll spin this around. Now, this is one of those things that this technique works for me, and it may not work as well for you. I find it easier to always have the soldering iron in my right hand, always have the solder in my left, and then moving the work itself as needed to get those joints so that I'm in a good position to solder those joints. And let's see, this one's in frame, so we'll do this one too. And then we'll just keep going on down, find some more that are ready to be soldered and in the frame. And there's one, and there's one. And there's one. And there's one. And now we're going to spin this around. And we got a few more here in frame. So we'll do those. And Ben put a good point here in the chat that water and sponge will pull heat out of the tip and can accelerate the how fast your tip deteriorates, or wears out, breaks down. I use little balls of they look like Brillo pads, but they're made of brass. And when we go back to the wide view, I'll show you that as well. I actually printed my own holder for them, but they do come, but you can get them as well. And where is that? That's right there. Okay. So there's the resistors. Put the iron back in the holder because it's really, really hot. And we'll wipe back to the wide screen. And so I'll give you all time to work on that while I show you a couple of things here. So this is how I clean my tip. They're a little smaller. I found this little smaller holder on Thingiverse now that I no longer brain farting about where I get my STLs. And so the iron actually just kind of goes in here and you stab it a few times, and it's kind of pleasantly satisfying to be able to stab something, and then this tip's all shiny. And then you end up with little bits of solder. And a note on solder, I'm not sure if Ben talked about this while I was dealing with the blue screen of death, but if it seems like mine's going super easy, that's because I go old school. This is leaded solder. It's actually 63% tin and 37% lead with a with a little bit of extra solder in the core. So is everybody got their resistors done and ready to cut? Okay, that's fine. I figured that of all the sessions that this one was going to go as long or if not over, so that's fine. We can wait. No worries. Give me a second to get my cheaters on. Because I will be the first to admit that I do not have the best eyesight and actually wear little magnifying glasses. Lately, I've taken to using a little microscope that's got a 7-inch screen. I do most of my soldering under that these days, but these cheaters will be fine for the stream. Okay, done. And Jay can't find their solder. Okay. Yeah, Jay, as long as you get a good solid bend on all the leads, you should be able to go through and solder this anytime. So can I get an R or a ready in the chat, please, and we'll move on. Excellent. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to, now that we've got our resistors on, we're going to just trim off the little legs. And when you do this, set these down. Hold what you're clipping off in one hand and cut with the other. Mostly because if you don't, I can guarantee you that this will end up in your foot, and usually at 3 a.m. when you're least equipped to deal with it. Not that I would have had any experience of this whatsoever. Okay, so there's our resistors. Now we're going to do the long part next, just because the way the prototype ended up, because I just had to at least once in one project use 10 millimeter LEDs, just for the WTF factor. So we're actually going to skip ahead and do the wires first, and then we're going to come back and do the LEDs. So go ahead and get out some wires. I'm going to grab some, hopefully, maybe, hail. Just rustle stuff from the back here. Not my name. Oh, here's some too. Okay. So I'm just gonna cut up some other jumpers to make sure that we have colors. So like these came in from China, broken, like whatever. And these are just, and there's, you can see that one's broken, but you know, the wire in between them's still good, and it helps us get everything color coded. So that'll be useful. So we're going to start with the red. And tool. There we go. And this is your pretty standard wire clippers. The way I like to do this is I usually like to take the heads off first, like so. And then we're going to strip these back, one on each side. And now here's the tricky part. You want to take and hold the bare wires tight and then twist the wire. And let me get the other camera out here. So we can get this in front of the other camera. Okay, right there. And we'll get the other camera going here. And you can see how that's kind of like now in a tight little spiral versus the other end, which is a little bit all over the place. And this one's going to be a lot easier to solder. And back out. So here's wire. So here's the other end all twisted. And we're going to go total pro on this.
Hey, Jet Girl
This,
Art,
as soon
thank
as
you
I
for subscribing to us. After the workshop, we'll shout you out.
figure out where I set the flux down at. Oh, there we go. All right, so just gonna add a little drop there. So like I said, I do use leaded solder. Realistically, if you look at the material data safety sheets for lead, it's not super dangerous until you start ingesting it. So as long as you wash your hands, you can use leaded solder, it's fine. So this is my technique for tinning wires. They're like, it's one of those things that everybody has a favorite. I like putting a ball of solder on the tip of my iron and just running it through. And now we have our perfectly tinned wire. Yay. Well, almost. And that does happen sometimes. I don't know. Let's see if we can put that in front of the big screen. The close-up. Yeah, I got a little blob there. Usually I just cut those off. You could work it some more or cut it off. That's kind of a dealer's choice situation. So it's way at the end, so we'll just kind of boop, gone. Okay, so now that we have our perfectly ready to put on the breadboard soldered wire, we're going to bend the shiny parts at 90 degrees and 90 degrees. And then this is going to go in J27. And let's get this one right this time. And it's I. Yeah, it should be. I11? Is that what I have written down? Somebody check the sheet for me. Thank you, Jay. It is I11. So then we're going to go over here to I11. Because there's nothing like a blue screen of death to completely and totally throw you off your game. And so we're going to bend that in. And unlike the resistors, which made more sense to do in a bunch, we're going to do these individually. So let me get that under the close-up camera. Move things aside here. There we go. And so we wipe over. And clean the iron. And there's one side. And there's the other. And then just like before, we're going to trim away any excess. So there's our first wire. And thank you, Peter, for that perfect textbook answer. Awesome. All right, let's move on to our first yellow. And we got the tool. And we take the heads and kind of start sweeping things off out of camera because oh god. There's one. And there's two. And spin. And spin, and I keep trying to do this closer to me because that's what I'm used to. And so if I'm ever way out of frame, just start yelling, screaming, hollering, and we'll take care of it. And one thing that is going to get out of frame is I basically just put down a little puddle of flux so that I can just dip these guys. Because these mats have little pockets. And in fact, I have a piece of old mat here that will fill instead so that we can kind of have it so that you can kind of see it. So there's my little puddle. Little puddle of secret sauce. And little solder, little tinning. And a little tin there. And then we'll clean off the excess solder. Stand up so it's easier to grab. Okay. So once again, we've got it tinned. And the big thing is that this board is designed as practice. So while I'll make every effort imaginable to make sure that everybody is on the same page, keep in mind that, you know, if you only get 2 done or 4 done or 5 done, that's fine. During the session, that's fine. It's not a big deal. Like I said, a lot of this board is practice. So we're bent over. There we go. And now we'll drop into there we go. Oh, there it is. Okay. And there's our joint. And we got that one. Let's drop a little flux on the other one. It seemed a little stiff. All right. There we go. All right, and there's the next one. And a cut. Oh, let's wipe over. And a cut there. And a cut there. There's that one. And now, let's see, we got another yellow. Yep, there's another yellow. And I'll do one more. I'll do this one, and then we'll wait and let people catch up, because I know that I'm doing this at what feels like a slow pace to kind of help you keep up. But the reality is that it probably is a little fast. So we'll do this one here. And this one will be into 19. Here. Okay. And then here, and I did not tin these because it's late and I've just, yeah. Okay, so there, tin. And a little more tin on the side, maybe. There we go. Look at that. Alrighty. Wow.